Hi gamers. After a little pause, I'm back here with my collection updates, and I got quite a few of them here this time. Starting off with a new Wii U game. Got one of my missing variants. This is Scribblenauts Unmasked, the 2-disc Walmart edition. That's right here isn't a sticker, it's a part of the cover paper. So there is a DVD of the animated Green Lantern show inside here. And I got this here sealed, so really happy to add this to my collection. Then we have a bunch of Switch games. Dragon Quest XI S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition. So that's a mouthful. Actually haven't played this, my fiance has, and she's been liking it so far. I gotta say it's an amazing feature to have, to be able to switch between the 3D and 2D graphics mode. We've had these kind of, when you're doing a remaster of like a point-and-click adventure game like Monkey Island, you can switch between the new and old graphics on the fly. But this is something different. This is a totally new game, basically. But of course, it's still the same game. But it's kind of amazing to think that a modern 3D game like that actually is no different than a Super Nintendo type game. Top-down, moving in squares and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a pretty cool thing to add into the game. That mode. I got the physical edition of Tetris 99. Comes with a 12-month Nintendo Switch Online subscription as well, so pretty good value for money. It's a really nice thing to have this in physical form as well. It is pretty much of a cult classic these days. Already Tetris, of course, being one of the best games ever, and Tetris 99 being a really cool take on a classic game. Then we have Demon Ex Machina. I'm not gonna lie, this isn't a AAA game or something like that, but it's good fun, and I've been looking at the developers putting out their roadmap for additional DLC and improvements on the game, new modes and everything. So working hard on the game, and so plenty of new content to come. That's always a good thing in a game. Also got the Collection of Mana. Now this is a long time coming. Finally, we can play Seiken Densetsu 3 or Secret of Mana 2 or what was it called? Trials of Mana. It's now called in English. Finally here in the West. And I have Seiken Densetsu 3 on the Super Famicom, and I've always admired the graphical style. It's just a gorgeous game, and it's been such a huge hole in the release schedule in the West that this was there, and then it was cancelled for some reason, and never came out until now. So really nice to have it out finally, and in physical form as well. Then I've also got the limited edition of Zelda Link's Awakening for the Switch, and I've played this through now, and what can I say? It's a really good game. I gotta say that when I first started it and went through the first couple of dungeons, I kind of felt that, well, this is too simple. This doesn't kind of work anymore. This was absolutely groundbreaking, huge game on the black and white Game Boy. severely restricted system. And what Nintendo has done is basically bring it, frame by frame to the Switch, just upgraded graphics, but it's still the same game. But once I played more of, the world seemed so small and everything. But once I played it, I had forgotten a ton of stuff. I didn't remember anything from the previous playthrough I had, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. So it was really fun to go through the game again, and it really pulls through towards the end. The dungeons become huge and sprawling, and there's always stuff to find in the overworld, and it's big enough. Let's put it like that. I would still say that this is a prime Zelda for somebody who has never played any Zeldas. Let you learn the ropes and stuff like that, but it's still a really great treat for any Zelda fan, even to people who have played through the game before. And one final Switch game. I got the collector's edition of Astral Chain. Now, there's been quite a lot of positive buzz around this game. Many people have even said that this is the best game Platinum has ever put out. But then there are also an equally large group of people who have said that this is garbage. The graphics are not up to par, the controls are bad, the lock-on is horrible, the camera is awful, and stuff like that. I'm actually in the middle here. I think this is lukewarm. Definitely not bad, but definitely not the best Platinum has ever put out. And yeah, it's again, this isn't like the biggest AAA title there is, but still you have to commend Platinum for trying new stuff. A new IP is always a new IP, and this is an interesting game. Technically, I guess the graphics are not, of course, up to par with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One X, but still has lots of character, and I do love the design of the game altogether. And then we get to the other stuff. I recently started a new round of collection updates to my console-specific collections. So one video for all of my NES games that I currently have, one video for all my Super Nintendo games that I currently have. I did a round of those previously, like 6 years ago, so plenty of new games to come. And I think it was really nice for me to visit my NES collection. Be sure to check out the video if you already haven't. And while I was going through the collection, I was pointing out some obvious holes in the collection, and I put my money where my mouth is, and I bought immediately 2 new NES games that I was missing, that I said I would need to buy. Turtles 2, the arcade game. I don't know why I was missing this. It's of course a classic game, and very different from, of course, the first Turtles game on the NES. But I would say that this is the more, easily the more faithful representation of a Turtles game. And I also got Deja Vu. I'm a huge Shadowgate fan on the NES, and Deja Vu is a second game from the same people. There's also a third game, Uninvited. I never played that game, and I never played Deja Vu actually, so really anxious to try this finally out. I've read about Deja Vu ever since I was a kid. I think I saw it in some magazine from the makers of Shadowgate, and here we go at age 37. I finally got one. So I guess this is a nice thing for me to do, you know, go through the collection and see what I'm missing, and please let me know if I'm missing something obvious that you think that should be in my collection or everybody's collection, so I might just pick those games up. Speaking of picking games up, I was at a thrift store, a flea market, the other day, and found there a DS game, Sudoku Master. And yeah, this is Nintendo's first party Sudoku game, and as such I just had to pick it up for €1. Definitely not pushing the boundaries of the DS, but then again it is a perfect, absolutely perfect fit for the DS with the stylus and everything. So yeah, good deal for €1. My fiance owned a Sega Saturn as a kid, and she had a bunch of games. I think I've previously shown one game and one steering wheel, Saturn steering wheel that I got from her, and this is more from her stash. Got Command and Conquer for the Sega Saturn. Thank you, dear, for this. Before we get to my Dreamcast editions, let's talk about one modern game here that isn't a Switch game, Control. This copy is sealed. I got this for my shelf. I played through the game with a download code from the press kit that I received. Also check out my unboxing for the press kit as well. And yeah, this is the newest game from Remedy, a Finnish game studio who have previously made Max Payne 1 and 2, as well as Alan Wake and Quantum Break. And yeah, this is their newest game, and this really continues their style of making games, which is push the envelope technically, create jaw-dropping graphics, and take the game's plot and story in very weird directions. It's very hard to explain what goes on in Control. Basically, you're in this one building the whole time, the Federal Bureau of Control, and very weird things happen in it. Teleportation and loss of physics and gravity, and anything doesn't work anymore, and just mayhem, different dimensions, weird enemies, weird weapons, abilities. It's just an all-out weird fest, and it's yeah, all the better for it. And I like this so much that I played through it to a platinum trophy, which actually wasn't that difficult. I think they had the sweet spot of designing their trophies, that after I had played through the game once, I had most of the stuff, and the rest of the stuff wasn't that far behind, so I decided to play some extra and get the platinum. You have to grind a little bit, but it's not doesn't feel like a chore. You know, if they had put in more stuff into their trophies, then I would have stopped after I had finished the game. But now that it was just a little bit of grind, I decided to go for it. So I think that's the best trophy design that can exist. Of course, that doesn't apply to everybody. Some people love the grind, but yeah, I can heartily recommend this. Of course, as a Finn, this is an exciting game release for us. But yeah, I'm sure that you're gonna enjoy this. Even if you just play through as an action game with emphasis on like tactical placement and tactical taking out of the right enemies with the right weapons and abilities, and just love looking at all the pretty explosions. This game is for you. But if you also enjoy something else from the story of your game, then you also need to check out Control. And then we get to my Dreamcast editions. just one actual new game here. It's a sports game, UEFA Dream Soccer. And these I don't count towards my game tally, and I don't plan on collecting all of these. But also got for free, or very cheap, like 10 cents a piece. I got two, what are these called, white label or something like that. Sample only, not for resale. Pre-production copy of Virtua Athlete 2K and Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future. So these are basically like demos of the game. I think they send these out to like stores for them to play on their kiosks, and you know, of course, the media to make preview articles and stuff like that. There are a ton of these, like dozens and dozens. Some people like to collect them all. These are my first, but yeah, happy to have these. But not nearly as happy as I am to have these. I had, of course, owned Shenmue 1 and 2 for a long time, ever since I got my Dreamcast. I immediately bought both of these, but these have a little addition to them that my fiance got me when she visited Gamescom this year, and she was kind enough to get me Yu Suzuki's autograph on both of these while she was doing an interview with him for the gaming magazine that I used to work at, where she is currently. And yeah, really cool stuff. I got just the first cover paper here signed, but yeah, signed by the man himself. And hopefully I can someday get, once I get my Shenmue 3 for the PlayStation 4, I got my Kickstarter copy. Hopefully soon on the way. Hopefully I can get the third one signed as well. But yeah, really blessed to have two of the best games on the Dreamcast signed by Yu Suzuki himself. So thank you, dear, again for getting me these. I really appreciate it. I've shared these and pretty much all of these games that are shown here in advance on my Instagram and Twitter channels. Check out FinGamer if you already haven't. And also be sure to turn on the little bell icon so that you can get notifications from my videos whenever I upload one. So this was a bit longer collection update this time. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.